Nike Strength has entered the chat, and they're coming in hard with new squat racks, barbells, plates, and other goodies. Today we're gonna review the Nike Squat Cage. In addition to their other squat racks, I'm gonna tell you honestly what I think about it and compare it to the myriad of other racks that this competes with. Should you buy this simply because of the name, or is it actually a good value? Let's find out. Hey guys, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today I'm reviewing the Nike Squat Cage. If you'd like to purchase it, you can check out the links below the like button. Also, we'd love you to subscribe if you're into this sort of thing. I'd like to do more Nike equipment in the future. If there's specific ones you'd like to see, let me know. Now, this is a squat cage designed similarly to many others that are out there. So that means it's using 3x3 uprights with 11 gauge steel. That's kind of typical in the industry for today. If you're somebody that's shopping for a squat rack, this is kind of your first squat rack. I will say this is the type of squat rack that I would recommend simply because it's modular, meaning that this is designed specifically for some of Nike's attachments. It even says on their site, it's designed to work with 5/8" hole attachments, meaning things from Rogue Fitness, Titan Fitness, Rep Fitness, basically all the players, so you can find both the best deal and the attachment that you like the best. So this is using 11 gauge, like I said, which is a typical thickness for uprights today. Most squat racks that you see are using this. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend a 7 gauge rack. It would be thicker and too heavy. You could go the 14 gauge route. That would be cheaper, but I think 11 gauge is a good middle ground. So the uprights on this are called 3x3 inches, but really this is an imported rack. So the uprights are 75 by 75 millimeter, which is typical for many others that are out there. That means it'll still work for the companies that are a little bit bigger, like the Made in the USA options, as well as those that are thinner. Now, one thing I will say on this is it is laser cut throughout. So the holes aren't punched, the holes are laser cut, which means they're basically not deflecting the steel when they cut them. It's a very nice thing. Also, the logos are laser cut except for the back logo that has a nice powder coated white swoosh. I think honestly, if you're buying this, that swoosh and the Nike logo are probably pretty important to you. So it stands out. So everybody that walks in your garage, you can say, look, it's my Nike squat rack. Wah! It also has a Nike sticker on the side. You can take that off if you like, but it would have been cool if they laser cut that as well. Now, on the front, the numbers are laser cut as well, every 2 holes. The holes themselves, they're not using west side hole spacing through the bench area, so they're actually 2 inches on center, but they're 2 inches on center all the way through the front and back of the upright, which is nice. I prefer 1 inch. That's one of the real nice things about a 5/8" hole pattern is you can have a west side hole spacing through the bench area. I really wish they would have added that, but for whatever reason, probably to save costs, they didn't do that. On the sides of the uprights though, they have holes every 8 inches. Again, more holes are gooder, so I would have wished they had more holes, but they don't. Now on the dimensions, there's a couple options basically you can go with this. You can go with 47 inch, which is kind of the thinner guys that we see from Sorenex and Rep. It's my preferable outside to outside width. Then you have Rogue that's all the way at 49 inch. And then you have kind of an in-between with say Titan Fitness and PRX that are using 48 inch. This one is 49 inch. So it's using a similar outside width as Rogue, which the positive side is you could use Rogue cross members on this because the distance is going to be the same, which is nice, but personally I prefer a thinner rack just for making re-racking the bar and pulling the bar out a little bit easier. Now the inside depth of the rack is one option, and that is 30 inches. This is their squat cage. One thing you'll notice about this is this pretty much has to be bolted down because it is a 4-post rack. It doesn't have an extension on the back where you can add plates on. I guess you could add plates on the back, but then you'd kind of ruin the functionality of the power rack function. So you really want to bolt this down, which is kind of annoying for people that don't want to do that. A lot of people would prefer a flat-footed rack, and there's many companies that make it. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised they came out with this instead of a flat foot rack. Seems like a better option in my opinion to come out with a flat foot rack for people, especially when you're selling this in places like Dick's Sporting Goods, where people want a put together rack and don't want to bolt it in. But something to be worth mentioning, they actually have 2 other racks other than this. They have a short squat stand and a tall squat stand. This tall squat stand they call the squat rack. It's a squat stand, but it includes a pull-up bar at the top, and those are really the differences. But that one is nice in that you can put plates on the back corners. This rack is really modeled off the west side rack, that we originally saw from Louis Simmons, which was then made into the Rogue R3 and has now become kind of the standard rack. The difference on this is completely bolt together. So it ships in a smaller box. It doesn't have welded frames. So technically shipping should be a little bit cheaper. Although when I actually went into their cart and created a cart, the shipping was 128 bucks to me on top of the cost that you already pay for the rack. So in the end, like, just understand they're not doing free shipping yet, which is kind of annoying when all the other companies really are offering it. But one thing that is nice, if you're gonna build a bigger gym setup, they do offer discounts depending on how big your cart is. Now, as you'll see, it is black, and that is the only color offered. So Nike's not including a Nike shoebox orange with this. That'd be kind of cool, actually. But you have one option, and that is black. I hope they come out with other options for colors in the future. They probably just don't want to stock the different colors of uprights for SKU purposes and warehousing, so they went with black. So if you like the black, that's cool. I will say pretty much every other company that's offering a rack like this today is offering them in colors. They don't include the Nike swoosh logo, so if that really matters to you, then it's obviously a rack that you want to look at, but they do have colors, which I would definitely prefer. But I will say the black powder coat is a light texture. It's not nearly as textured as, say, a Rogue upright. Same thing with the pull-up bar. It's a very light texture. It's okay, it's a decent powder coat, but I will say on the total fit and finish, the laser cut is nice, the powder coat is very evenly coated, and they're using robotic welders. You can tell it's just very consistent, very even welds. This is not stuff that's like really shoddy. I'm guessing because Nike's name is on this, although this is really oriented as kind of a budget-ended product, kind of not. I'll talk about that in a moment. But because of that, I guarantee you they don't want racks breaking on people and hurting people, so they've probably gone to some extra measures to make sure this stuff is gonna be safe. This rack does come with J-cups and spotter pins, standard. The J-cups are eared opposite ends, which is nice, and a lot of companies kind of overlook that when they're first coming out with a rack. It's nice. It does have the laser cut swoosh on there too. That way you can just tell people you have a Nike rack. Okay, so what's the value like and how does it compare to other companies? Okay, this is the price, the retail price, not including any discounts, which it seems like they're offering some discounts. I totally expect them over time to offer more and more discounts depending on how these things are selling. These are also selling in stores, which is kind of cool. I could see myself as a high schooler going to Dick's Sporting Goods, seeing a Nike squat rack and saying, yeah, I don't want that one, I want a Rogue one. But I think there are people out there that would walk into a Dick's Sporting Goods playing sports and then ask their parents for it because it has that Nike logo. But right now it is 950 bucks plus, at least to me in the Midwest, 128 bucks shipping, which puts the total for this rack over $1,000. How does that compare to the competitors? Some of you are like, wow, that's way too expensive. Some of you probably just have no idea. You're just like, is that what the others cost? They don't, okay? Here's your options. A competitor for this is, say, the Titan X3 that has a similar construction, similar uprights, does offer colors. Pretty much everything about it is very similar, except for the fact that this one says Nike on it, whereas theirs say Titan. In fact, some of their features are even better. They have west side hole spacing on Titans and colors. The Titan X3, in the same pretty much functionality, is 720 bucks with free shipping. So you're gonna be paying over 300 bucks for a Nike swoosh. Like truly, that's the difference. In addition to that, you have other companies, let's say Rogue. Rogue is actually offering a similar option, but theirs is made in the USA using true 3x3 uprights with the Rogue warranty, with all the different Rogue colors, and it is 1,143 bucks, including shipping. And that didn't include any discounts with, say, buying a bunch of stuff and having extra discounts. So a very similar price. So the question is, should you buy this? No. The only way I would recommend this is if you really want a Nike logo. I hope over time they lower their cost. Like this is just like I'm just being honest on this. This is very much a commoditized rack. Pretty much every company is offering something similar to this. So Coop's summarized review for this rack is just don't it. Same thing with their squat stands. And the only reason I can recommend this is if you really, really want the Nike logo at the current price, because you can get a Titan rack made probably in similar factories, if not the same factory, with colors, with robotic welding, with west side hole spacing, all that sort of stuff for like 200, 300 bucks less. Ridiculous. or you can go just a little bit higher and get made in the USA and better quality. So why would Nike come out with this rack? I think they're just dipping their toes into the water. I think over time they'll come out with other racks and other options where they want to expand from this. Honestly, if I was Nike Strength, I would be lending on my name too as I was coming into the market. I wouldn't try to do anything crazy. I just do the basics and I do them well, and they've done that. I just think their price is high. Do I like the rack? Yeah, it's a commodity rack. It's a well-made rack. It has a high weight capacity of 1,100 pounds, but all the same stuff that other companies are offering already. So this is very much, in my opinion, a brand play. Like some of Nike stuff, like the bumper plates, those are actually cool. This one, like I'm just being honest, I'm getting a lot of questions on these. What do I think about it? It's a rack, it's a basic rack, a very functional rack. If you get this, you can keep it forever, it'll last forever, it's gonna work forever. It's really gonna fit your needs. It's adjustable, modular, but so are all the other companies at much cheaper. I just think Nike Strength, you gotta either do better on price or do better on innovation. Okay, that's my honest review. What do you think about the Nike Squat Rack? What do you think about the competitors? Are there any other Nike products you wanna see us review first? Let me know in the comments. This has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.